Welcome back. Looks like we got a pretty good start this time. Piebald Grebe. Blue Throat in the tray. Blue Throat's pretty good. We got a Junco. Forester and Ecologist. Eggs in the Forest, Brown Powers, Platform Nest Birds, and Birds in One Row. So, kinda feel like doing a draw gambit here. Just rolling with the Grebe and drawing cards. The Warbler is good. What do we got in the bird feeder? Warbler could be my forest bird. Plenty of wheat and worms, and we got one fish. Do we just grab that Blue Throat? It's a 7-point bird. Could pick up the cherry for it. Could throw it in our grasslands, but maybe we could throw it in our wetlands too. I think we'll go with Ecologist. That's a pretty good bonus card, easy to get about 4 points on fairly consistently. Yeah, I think we're gonna roll with this. I like the Junco, but I don't necessarily want to keep it for my starting hand. We're in a good card drawing position with our Piebald Grebe. I may just grab that Blue Throat right off the bat. I think if I leave it, my opponent will grab it. But it's just a good bird all around. It's got great utility. It's a good point bomb. It's got a big nest. And I have the option of dropping that in either a strong grasslands engine, or if we see some good wetland tucking cards, maybe we can go with a wetland tucking engine. But I guess we'll see what happens. Alright, my opponent kept 3 cards, a worm and a wheat. It could be just about anything. I think I am going to snipe the Blue Throat here. Hopefully we don't turn up something amazing for our opponent. Bronzed Cowbird. That could be good. I mean, we're not planning on building into the grasslands yet, but that's always kind of the meta engine to have, is endgame egg spam in the grasslands. So Bronzed Cowbird, by direct consequence, always kind of, it's that metagame pick, even when your opponent isn't really showing what's going on yet. But they chose not to take it. They gained food, 2 worms and a wheat. Wonder what that's going to be. Plenty of bonus card birds have that spread. But we're just going to throw down our Grebe here. We're going to draw some cards. See if we can't draw into some strong tucking options for the grasslands. Pivot mid to late game. Alright, common Chiffchaff. So now I'm really glad I grabbed that Blue Throat. That would be very, very good for them to start out that way. So I don't know if that's just a throw off wetland bird, or if they're really going to try to build out their wetlands. So I'm going to... They have 2 worms. I'm going to take the worm here, so I can get down my Cerulean Warbler, lay eggs on it, and if they do try to build a wetlands Chiffchaff engine, we should easily win this round goal. But that could just be their first wetland bird, so when Chiffchaffs try to establish themselves, they really want to try to have a food-gaining bird and an egg-laying bird to go along with them, and you really got to be careful about giving them resources, because they could just keep playing tucking birds and steamroll out of control. You want to have them dip into their inefficient grasslands and forests as much as possible, because they usually don't have that many birds there. So they laid eggs here. Looks like they're probably either going to play a second bird, which is what I would expect, or they could possibly just spend the egg to draw a card. But with these two worms, I see another tucking bird or maybe a hummingbird coming here, or an egg-laying bird. So I am going to get down the cerulean warbler. Nest box or fish eaters. So we already got one fish-eating bird, so we're going to roll with that. We should be able to get a second one fairly easily. And this blue throat is just going to kind of sit in our back pocket here. I'm going to draw some cards again, and if we get some bad cards, I'm going to go to the forest and get food, discarding a bad card for a second piece of food. And we can pick up the wheat for the blue throat, and hopefully flip this bird feeder over at some point and pick up the worm for the blue throat. But I'm really interested to see what my opponent's next play is here. So, if you don't know, the common Chiffchaff is one of these mass tucking birds. Choose 1 to 5 birds in this habitat. Tuck 1 card from your hand behind each bird. So, as I was saying earlier, this Chiffchaff really wants to build out their wetlands as fast and efficiently as possible. So that's why you don't really want to give them resources, because you're just giving them free action cubes, really. And with those action cubes, they can end up activating their wetlands for 5, 6, 7 or more points when things really get out of control. And Chiffchaff engines have a couple of big weaknesses. Is they usually end up ignoring the round goals and their bonus cards. So when they get really lucky, they get a bonus card that lines up with what they're doing, like wetland scientist, or as far as round goals go, birds in the wetlands or things like that. And we can see here, brown powers will help them and birds in 1 row will help them. But it really depends on what cards they see. They don't have a strong card drawing bird right now. This Chiffchaff only consumes cards, it doesn't produce them. So right now they're only getting 1 card, and they can chuck an egg for a second card. So they really want something like a pie-billed grebe to go along with this. So it looks like they played a black-neck stilt. So it's not an engine bird. That's really what I want to see. I don't want to see good engine birds, point-scoring birds, resource-generating birds going along with this Chiffchaff. But it does get them to that critical second space in their grassland, or in their wetlands rather. So they picked up 2 cards from the top of the deck. They might have Food Web Expert. A little bit of an unconventional play for the stilt. So what are we doing? We have our forest bird. And they're showing wetlands, but the stilt doesn't necessarily mean a wetlands commitment. If that were an engine bird, that would show to me more of a wetlands commitment. So they could still grab a forest bird and play it and compete for the round goal, but now they're at 0 food and they have no forest bird, so they're only getting 1 food per activation. So that's really where we want to keep them at. So I'm going to draw cards here. That's good. Good resource generating bird. Bluebird, black-throated diver. The diver is a good 5-point body. Helps us draw more cards. We do have fishery manager, so I think we'll keep that. We'll discard the mountain bluebird. And too bad we don't have another card to discard for food. I might actually draw cards here again. I would really like that bird feeder to flip over. So if we draw cards again and they gain 1 food, we'll be able to gain 1 food and discard a card for a second food, giving us the reroll on the bird feeder. And hopefully we pick up not a cherry, but a worm, because we have the cherry already, and we can play our red start and really get a good forest development here. gaining 3 food per activation. Alright, my opponent drew cards. It looks like they took the Prothonotary Warbler. So there's only 3 activations left in the round. They don't have any food, so that's an expensive 3 food bird. They're not going to be able to get the food for it and play it before the end of the round and compete for this goal. So I wonder if they just didn't want me to have it. It looks like they tucked 2 cards here, so they're really just digging, and they probably took that Warbler as a deny. So we have 3 activations left in the round. I think I'm just going to draw cards again. Broadwinged Hawk. Could be a good body in the forest. Black Woodpecker, that could be massive. And the Great Crested Grebe is a fish-eating bird, but we have so much card draw already, I don't know if we necessarily want that. This is a platform nest. This is a platform nest as well. I don't know, maybe we do go for this. So what do I want to discard? The Black Woodpecker is pretty good. I've had a good game with that in the past. But I think the Red Start is just easier to get onto the board and more consistent. So I'll probably discard the Woodpecker for an extra piece of food. But we're going to have to make sure to get 2 eggs onto our Warbler here for the round goal. And our opponent is looking like they probably won't get on the board for this round goal. So they drew cards again. 2 more tucks. So that kind of shows me they're a little bit desperate. They're drawing cards, they're not liking them, and they're tucking them for points. And they're really struggling to get any type of resource generation here. So that's kind of a death sentence for a Chiffchaff. And the worst thing we could do right now is give them resources, like through our Blue Throat. So we're just going to let them spin their wheels here. And we want to gain food. We actually want this fish now. And we will discard the Black Woodpecker. And now we can get the reroll. So there we got the cherry for our Red Start. Make sure that's what we want. Oh, we don't want the cherry. I'm glad I checked. We want the worm. Get the worm for our Red Start, and then we'll just lay eggs to win the round goal, and we'll have the eggs we need to play our Red Start in round 2. So my opponent drew cards again, and they tucked 2 cards again. So they're really struggling to establish themselves. They're really trying to dig for those perfect cards. Here we just need to lay eggs and get on the board for the round goal so we can win it. Alright, so we win the round goal. They're going to want that cardinal, I think. They need to get some type of food generating bird. So I totally expect them to grab that here. They might grab the catbird as well, since there's so much synergy with the cardinal here. They could pick up the 2 cherries fairly easily, and then play the catbird in their forest, and just generate a bunch of food that they've been desperately needing since round 1. So they could do that, and really that's what they need to do, something like that. At the bare minimum, they're going to go for the cardinal. And the food is in the bird feeder. So I wonder... I'm not going to sacrifice my tempo. I'm just going to play my Red Start. They'll grab either the... So they're going to go cardinal. I'm going to play Red Start. They'll grab the wheat. And then they're going to need to grab the cherry after that. They have 0 food. So they'll draw the cardinal. I'll play the Red Start. They'll gain a wheat. I'll take the cherry to deny them their food for the cardinal. Then we'll go from there. So they did take the cardinal. Play my red start as planned. Spin the egg. Stellar's Jay, don't really care about it. Need to keep our eye out for more fish-eating birds. I don't think snowy egret is the one we want. We're going to have to get a couple birds in our grasslands as well for ecologist. So they gained food. They gained a worm. They didn't grab either of the food for the cardinal. So they must have another bird in hand that they want to play. Maybe like blue-gray gnatcatcher or something like that. So I'm actually going to, if I take 2 food though, they'll be able to flip the bird feeder. I'll get 3 food because of my red start. So I'll take the food they need for the cardinal, flip that bird feeder, and I'd like to take that wheat, but I think I'm going to take the worm. Actually, I'm going to take the fish for the diver. And we're just going to keep this blue throat in our back pocket. So they played Chipping Sparrow. That's a good play for the forest. I think, do I want to try to deny food again? I do need food eventually. I don't necessarily need to draw cards right now. Could use a couple more fish. I think I am just going to try to deny, but the bird feeder's going to flip again. So they're about to solve their food problems here rather quickly, their food and their egg problems. So at that point, this Chiffchaff will start to try to develop more point scoring capability. So I'm not going to hurt my game just to try to slow them down on food, because it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that successfully. So I'm going to take the worm for my blue throat, and I will take the wheat, give myself the reroll. I would have liked another fish there, but we will take a second worm. And now actually we've robbed them of a cherry for their cardinal. Alright, so they gained food. Looks like they discarded a card. They grabbed the rat. Did they get a raven? Maybe not. So let's drop our blue throat. For a clean 7 points. So next time we lay eggs, we'll have the option of handing out 1 food of any type to all players. And I think next we'll just drop the black-throated diver in the wetlands. That'll give us another brown power, so they flipped the bird feeder here, I see. So let's see what they grab. They gained food again. They grabbed a cherry, so that's for the cardinal. So I'm just going to play the diver. And then we'll draw cards. See what we get. We don't want to keep an eye out for fish for our grebe, but maybe we find something better. It is a platform nest, and we're pretty short on those. There's the cardinal as expected. So now my opponent has solved their food problem, and we've managed to stand in their way and strangle their food production all the way up to the end of round 2. So they really haven't been able to gain the food they need in the first half. So that could be enough for us to win it, but the game's not over yet. So what are we going to do here? Black-throated diver is pretty nice. It discards all the cards from the tray, and then you get to refill it and pick one. So let's just take a bird's eye view here. No fish in the feeder. So let's just draw cards. Ring-billed gull is a good tucking bird. Blue heron, that's a good bomb. Another double play, or a double play bird, PAB, play another bird. It does eat fish. So let's cycle the tray. Nothing great. I think we'll take the canvas back. I'm not really going to play it. Hooded Warbler is good. House Wren is good. PAB bird. Let's get rid of... I think we'll get rid of the canvas back. So a little point about this black-throated diver, and then there's two other birds like it. The white-throated dipper, which goes in the grasslands, and then there's the white stork. That one's a lot more popular because it can be played in the wetland or in the grasslands as well as the wetlands, and it's an 8-point bird. But when you play these birds, you really want to be able to draw cards in front of them, and the diver and the dipper always get that ability because they can only go in the wetlands. But once you look at those 3 cards and you pick one, if there's multiple good cards in the tray, your opponent always has the ability then to go and grab one of those great cards. But when you have a card behind the dipper or the diver that can draw more cards, then you can snipe any of the good cards that get turned up by the diver or the dipper. So that's kind of a good little card draw combination there. So our opponent gained food. Looks like they're on deck to play... I wonder if... Did they draw the Mockingbird? That's 2 cherries though. Could have Catbird. So, what do we got? We could... It would be nice to get a big fat wetland bird to go along with our heron. We have the hooded warbler as a bomb. Need more fish-eating birds. Going to need eggs at some point. So what... We don't really have any strong point scoring options in front of us. So I'm just going to draw cards again. So for the round goal, we're 1 ahead on brown powers, and they have plenty of food to play another brown power. So maybe I want to play a brown power here. I don't have the eggs though. So that's out of the question. So they could steal the round goal from us. So I'm just going to draw cards here. Whooping Crane is really good. Atlantic Puffin, holy cow. Fish-eating bird, that was huge. Take the Warbler, because it's a good bomb. Hummingbird is good. Spotted Owl is good. So we got stacked cards for days here. Holy cow. We'll get rid of the gull. Now we need lots of food. So we did win the round goal. Plenty of good... Painted Bunting and Oriole are good bombs. But we need to get food and get these birds down as fast as possible, with an eye on platform nests. So we want to go Heron into Puffin. Then we'll play Whooping Crane as our last wetland bird. So we need plenty of fish. We need those 2 rats, actually. We play the Spotted Owl for another bonus card. We want lots of fish. So let's take the 2 rats. Reroll. No fish. But we do want worms. So we have a wheat and a worm already. We would like 2 worms for our warblers. So we'll take that. Now I have this house wren here. I could use it to play a warbler, but it's such a shrimpy little bird and we don't really need the egg space. It does help for birds in 1 row. Maybe we'll just kind of hold on to that. We'll drop, maybe we'll go Wren Warbler into the grasslands to help our egg production. But I'm going to need eggs before I can do that, so I could grab the third worm. I could lay 2 eggs, grab the third worm that I need, and then go wren warbler. But that feels a little slow. I really want to get fish for my heron and puffin. I need to get these down. I think I'm... Oh god, I got so many good cards. I don't need the crested grebe anymore, because I'm going to get, with the heron and puffin, I'm going to max out my fishery manager. So if I play the spotted owl, I can then gain food. I'll be getting 4 total food. I can discard a card. I'll discard the grebe. Hopefully I can turn up some fish here. I need to make sure to get an egg on my grebe. They have 0 platform nests, so it's not super critical at this moment. I don't have the eggs. So I need all my food. Do I need that wheat? I think I am going to chuck this wheat here for an extra egg, because I'm going to need it for all these birds I'm playing. And I am going to... Honestly, I think I take the fish here. I'm not going to worry about the wren. I need to start stockpiling these fish for our gigantic bomb. Gigantic fish bomb. More food gain from our opponent. I think I'm going to play the spotted owl here. Ethologist per power color in habitat. Multi-habitat birds. Got a lot of single habitat birds coming up. I think we're going to take Ethologist here. We're already getting 4 points for it. Then we'll gain food and flip this bird feeder over, looking for fish. I don't think we need to draw cards again. We got so many powerful bombs here. And we just need to amass our food and just start blowing the place up. So we got the Black Crowned Night Heron from our opponent. That's a good play. It's all bomb, platform nest, lines up with the wrong goal. Huge 9-point play. They can discard an egg for an extra piece of food like a crow. So that makes a lot of sense for them to play that. So let's just go with our plan. I'm going to get rid of the grebe here. And we need none of this. We need worms and fish. Let's take the wheat, re-roll, take the fish, take the worm, take the worm. So now we have the fish and the worm for the heron. We need 2 more fish for the puffin. So it looks like we'll tie unless they play another platform bird. Plenty of activations left in the round. They've got the food and the actions to play a platform nest bird and lay eggs on it. Our opponent played another platform nest, peregrine falcon. It's a standard predator bird. So they're really looking to end their game by just tucking a bunch of cards under the Chiffchaff, and that makes sense. They're going to have to lay eggs here to get an egg on each of their platform birds. And they've got 2 activations left. They could just gain food twice and use their chipping sparrow to lay an egg on each one of these. And then they have some food left to play some of the cards they might draw. So what are we doing in response? We have 2 activations left. They have shown their second platform nest bird. I think we're just going to let them have the round goal, because we need to get food for our bombs. I'm going to chuck this hummingbird. No fish. So maybe we go with the whooping crane. Heron whooping crane. We'll take wheat. Actually, I need a lot of worms, don't I? I got 4 worms. I need a 5th worm. Take the rat, and we'll take the cherry, and we'll get the reroll and the red start, and we got a 2nd fish, thankfully. So maybe we can overpay a little bit on the puffin, but I need 3 eggs to make this play. So I'm actually going to lay eggs here, get another fish from the blue throat, and I think maybe I'll chuck a food for the extra egg. And we're going to lose this wrong goal, but it's going to be worth it. So they laid their eggs as expected. They've got 1 activation left. They're probably just going to draw cards and just lean on their Chiffchaff. And they're able to get food too from the heron if they want. But they're not going to spend these 2 eggs because they need it for the round goal. They're going to spend it off their Chiffchaff if they need it. But they got a pretty good force, so they probably won't do that. And they're contending for the 4th round goal. So let's lay our eggs. Let's get rid of this rat. Just spread our eggs around a little bit in case we draw Oologist. And I'll grab a fish. I'll hand out a fish to everybody so they got a fish as well. Maybe they'll fill out this 5th column in their wetlands. Alright, so they win the wrong goal. And I'm pretty sure they drew cards here. Not going to be able to see that until our turn comes back around. So I wonder if they don't grab that house finch and play it. They could overpay for it. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that's what they did. Just maximize the point scoring power of this Chiffchaff engine. And that's just a tuck draw bird. They didn't take it. They played Baltimore Oriole. So that makes more sense. A nice big point bomb, 8-point play. So we are going to drop our point bomb in retaliation. There's our blue heron. It lets us play the Atlantic puffin. Whooping crane will come through on omnivore though, so that'll pick up 2 more points there. Could be worse, but we are going to contend for this round goal. They're going to have to play a bird here in the 5th column or we're going to win it. So we're just going to drop all these bombs, play the whooping crane into column 5. I'm going to have to lay eggs. Then we'll play the blue-winged warbler into the grasslands. Actually, I'm just going to play the warbler first. That way I can get the extra egg off my lay eggs action and then have the eggs to play the whooping crane. So they drew cards, running their tucking engine. They don't have a ton of food. There's 3 activations left. So we'll drop our bomb. More bombs. Continue to bomb the board. Then we'll lay eggs. Play our whooping crane. Play our hooded warbler. Actually, we could get away with the house wren hooded warbler. But the wren is a -1 point net play. What does it get us? We already have a white power in our forest. Doesn't need fish. This is maxed out. Habitat with the fewest birds. Dang it, I wonder if I shouldn't have played that wren. The wren blue-winged warbler. That would have given me another filled column for my ecologist. drew cards again. So yeah, I think that might have been the right play. I missed that. So let's lay eggs. What food do I need? Doing wren warbler in the forest doesn't get me anything, because I'm already going to get 5 birds. But I should have probably definitely played house wren blue wing warbler in the grassland. So since they're strapped for food, they've got 1 egg they can spend for food. I'm going to skip. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. I actually needed that food for my warbler. Play the crane and the warbler. Big mistake. Not paying attention. God, that's going to cost me 4 points. So let's see, that would be a 6-point play. Nope, -2. That would be a 5-point play. So that cost me 2 points. That hurts. Alright, wetland scientist. We ended up maxing that out, so that makes me feel a little bit better about my misplay there on the food. So we'll gain 3 points here, whereas the warbler would have been a net 5-point play, so could have gained 2 extra points there, but I didn't see it. Alright, so they drew birds again, so they just finished off their tucking. And what am I going to do? All I can do is just lay eggs here in the game with 3 points. Well, hopefully that 2-point misplay didn't cost us the game. I feel pretty confident with our bird points and our bonus card points. If you like that game, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. So we pull ahead on bird points. We should pull ahead on bonus cards. Got a huge lead. And the wrong goal should be fairly even. Oh, we had a lot more there. So we look like we have this in the bag. 101 to 76. So good game to my opponent. That stalling that they had in the beginning of the game for food really came back to help us win, I think.